someone in our path, either today, tomorrow, next week, may we treat that person with the same grace and mercy that you treat us. Amen. Amen. Would you please join me in the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They remain standing before the national anthem. So I spent 4 years with the Coast Guard from September of '65 until August of '69. And I pulled some incredible duty. And in fact, the Coast Guard really shaped my whole life. Because I ended up on the first ocean record ship and went through the Panama Canal 4 times, over the equator 12 times. It was great duty. Then I got really to Alaska on an ice break. Wow. And the whole purpose there is actually a buoy tender with an icebreaker battle. So here's the deal. Why were we there? Because I was on there for a year and a half. We only pulled one buoy out of the water. We were there to check on the Japanese, the South Koreans, and the Russians. Illegal fishing. Remember, we didn't have satellites. We were fishing wildlife. They would fly over and tell us where they were. We would then go in the middle of the night, board their boat, and arrest their captain. And our captain would go off to Juneau, and they would be fine. They would come back to the ship, and they would find out that the nets were all cut. They had to go back to Japan and get the nets. Anyway, so that's the type of thing we did. Did it for a year and a half. When I got discharged from Seattle, I wasn't going to fly across the country. I drove across the country. I became a bonded driver, drove an Alfa Romeo, and had 3 weeks to get back to the East Coast. So why did I give you all this travel crap? Well, when I got out, I realized that I really missed the travel part. So I joined American Airlines. And started at Kennedy Airport, worked passenger service, got promoted to headquarters, which was in Manhattan. And then American Airlines made a big announcement that they're going to move to Cassell to make DFW a super, which is exactly what they did. Actually, just before that move is when I met Jacques. I think it was about 1977. So I had come back here to go to the academy. I was working on a program and I had interviewed a bunch of people. Anyway, I stayed with American for 18 years. I left and then took a package and went to Siemens, which was here in Arlington. Spent a good 18 or 19 years in Siemens. But the important thing is that when I came here, 2 years after I came here, I met my wife, who was working at headquarters. And we've been married 4 years. We have 2 kids, we have 3 grandkids. We are in Arlington and her, all local. And the real reason that I want to stay here is because of family, because of those kids, and the grandkids, and because of DFW Airport. So over the last 10 years, I've been a volunteer at DFW Airport as an ambassador. I was out there for 5 hours yesterday. We do that once or twice a week. A lot of people don't realize DFW is the backbone to the economy of the whole metroplex. American has 900 flights a day, and they're looking to expand. That's why they're building Terminal F. So, working at the airport, for me, is a way to give back. Because I work in the international building, I meet people who come from all over the world, and I solve their problems, and I work with a lot of great people, other ambassadors. I know people that work for CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, DFW Airport, TSA. I know management there. It's a different kind of club, but it's really kind of neat. I enjoy it. So in a nutshell, that's me. And I've been with the wife for 40 years. She and I are heading to Europe in 2 weeks. I don't know if I'll be here for the next week. Do that as a May. Saturday I turned 80.
Speaking of his wife, Kathy, I photographed their wedding.
That's true. In 1984.
80 to the new 40. But that's
Yes, you had a guest here today.
Bobby Trees.
There, Bill.
All right. Hello, everybody. I'm a guest of Jay Sabatucci. We're a long time friends, so hey, we kind of reunite with one another back in December. It was nice to see him again because it's been like a long time ago. He mentioned about this group here. He said, "Look here, why don't you come and visit and check it out? You might like it." Well, there's great food here. I met some great people, and the group is staying. I hope y'all just keep this going. I'm not sure if I'm going to join this group or not, but hey, I'd love to get together with y'all doing. It's a great thing for America. Okay.
Hi, I'm Michael Rogowski, and I'm a guest of Jay's here. His wife and I used to work together at St. Marie Goretti Catholic Parish. And we typically meet up at Fishman, is where the lens.
The best fish fry.
St. Vincent de Paul Church, $10 a person every Friday, Saturday. The best. The best.
Sounds like a senior men's meeting there.
Yeah, he's not underselling. But anyways, and he mentioned coming to the meeting, and so decided to take it down to this opportunity, didn't know about the men's club. And it's great, looks like everything I've seen so far, great group of people, great camaraderie. And just recently retired, so kind of getting used to that. I've worked anywhere from 6 months to, I think, Manny said 2 years. So I'm just not along for the ride. Well, thank you for having me here today.
Thank you, Robbie. Any other guests? Right here, right here. I thought it was my third time. Your third time? Well, when are you gonna join, Doug? Come join us. Ron's got an application for you. Come join us. You got it right there. Fill it out, $30, you can handle that and do it. There we got, what we got, around 60 to 70 total members, something like that? 68 current. All right, very good. All right, couple more things to do before we get to our speaker. We got birthdays. Look at the list here. March 14th, Don Cassell. Don's not here, he should be here. Ben Mead on the 14th. And our newest member turns 80 on the 15th, Dave Anderson. Stand up, Dave. Bill Venable, he's not here, and Rick Sherman's not here. Dave, you get to stand up and everybody's going to sing happy birthday to you, all right? Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dave. Happy birthday to you. All right, go. All right, coming up. Our next meeting is going to be also one of our members, Mauricio Galante, who serves on the city council. He's going to talk about what's going on, how it is to be a city council member for the first year. He's been there less than 1 year. He's also got some projects, hosts the boutique hotel near the golf center of Arlington that we own. He's also working on a sister city program with someplace in Brazil. We'll find out more about that at that time. All right. What was that?
We have a city in Germany.
Yes, we got two. We got two now.
Now the sister cities of Brazil, the whole country, and the Arlington, the Brazilian Chamber of Commerce and the Arlington Chamber of Commerce are officially connected. The sister city project is the next one.
Good, thank you, Jim. All right. You know, sometimes things don't work out as planned, okay? Yesterday afternoon, Ron White got a phone call from our speaker, Darrell Butt, who's going to talk about his military career in the Medal of Honor Museum. He's got a book, etc. He called up and said, I can't make it. Disappointed. So what are we going to do? We start to scramble, and the first thing we did, well, let's see if Mauricio's scheduled next month. We can get him. Well, he's on city council business with Raul Gonzalez and others up in Washington, D.C. So that didn't work out. So then I called on Taylor Oldroyd, who's the head of the Arlington Board of Realtors. I had been with him recently. He said, hey, if you need a substitute speaker, I'll come do it. Oh, no. Can't do it. We've got a full schedule today. Then I started looking at our upcoming speakers, and I gave a call to Victoria for our Myers, who's scheduled to speak in May. Victoria, can you help fill us out tomorrow? Nope, can't do it. I got a full schedule. But I happened to be with Corinna Cassell at a board meeting for the Penn City of Arlington. We both serve on that board, and she said, how about my husband Jeff? I followed up, Jeff? He said, yes, I'll do it. So Jeff, you get the microphone. Here we go.
Can you dance? I can't dance, not for shit.
Okay, I'm the speaker by default today, it looks like. But I'm going to pass out some stuff real quick because we don't have visual aid. So if you would just take a few of these and pass them. So I'm a real estate broker in Arlington for really I've sold real estate since 1989. And over 7,200 transactions here in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, San Antonio marketplace. And so I've seen a lot of changes in Arlington. I was talking with Barry earlier, you know, his dad moved to Mansfield when there was 1,000 people, to Arlington when there was 1,000 people here. I moved here in 1989, and it was 195,000 people. And it's almost 400 today. And so every 20 years, it seems like our marketplace keeps growing and our values of homes keep doubling. So when I'm sending you here, I'm showing you information just so you kind of know what the market is doing in Arlington per se, because this is specific to Arlington. And if you look at this, our median sales price right now is about $315,000. When your dad moved here, I bet the price was in the 50s. Probably in the 50s, because in 1989, the average sales price was like $78,000. So right now, you can see our market keeps moving faster and faster towards higher prices. One of the reasons why you're seeing the market changes, and you look at the number of sales, 174, that's 4.2% higher than last year. Our market is still on fire because of relocation. People are still coming here. Not 1,000 people a day, but right now about 1,000 people a month are coming into Arlington to look for relocation jobs, new East space that's going to be built in South Arlington near the airport. And if you look at all of the economic development staff, one thing about the city of Arlington, and I know we've had Gus Garcia with the EDC come, they now have a staff of 31. They used to only have 2. It used to only be 1, and it was the mayor, but now it's a full staff because they're bringing in businesses into Arlington to help promote Arlington. And so we see these numbers changing quite a bit. If you look, right now, our market we've had 2017, 80,000 homes were on the market for sale. Right now, there's only about 3.5 months of inventory available. And what that means is there's about really only 18,000 homes in all the metroplex. It used to be 80,000. People are hanging on to their homes more. The reason why interest rates are up, market's changing, and so I want to make sure you see the actual numbers. The days to close, 30 days, you put your house on the market, if it's priced right in the market, it's going to close in 30 days. And it's going to take on average about 63 days to get it sold to the next buyer. You might get 2 or 3 contracts, whereas during COVID, you would have got 8 contracts because everybody and their brother was looking for a house in Texas. And where were they all coming from?
California.
California is one of them. Where else?
New York.
New York,
Wow.
Illinois.
Florida. Florida's relocating to Texas a lot. And Louisiana and Oklahoma. We got 94,000 people relocated from California to Texas. 30,000 from Oklahoma, 28,000 from Louisiana, 51,000 from Florida, and New York, 30,000 people moved to a red state. And the reason why they're fed up with the politics of some of those states. And they're coming to states that are more pro-business, more excited about doing business and bringing people into jobs. That's one thing about the EDC that is really a big deal, because you think, what's an EDC do for me? Well, it's bringing in people that are bringing in all the new restaurants. You know, the Lincoln Square is going to get remodeled. You guys know that? Trademark's going to do that. That just got through planning and zoning, and they're going to be totally gutting and redoing that. That's a big deal. It's going to make the Gateway in Arlington have a lot better presence than the vacant Lincoln Square. And to me, that's important because everybody that comes for a game, comes for anything, any kind of event, is going to come down Collins. They're going to come down any of those main streets and they're going to see what? Vacant buildings? No, it's going to be vibrant new things. And so that's the key to economic development for everybody. But I want to make sure, as the broker, I want to make sure you did see a little bit about the real estate, about what's going on. The market is still hot. Some people think, well, interest rates are not affecting the market. My first sale was at 16% interest rate. Remember those rates? Yeah. So in reality, when I see interest rates at 6, Well, right now it's 6.8%. And if you do a 15-year note, it's about 6.2%. So when I see rates like that, really 8% is a 40-year low. And so when people complain they're uneducated because they don't understand, they may be used to 3% interest rates, but that is not going to happen again. I'm going to tell you that. If that does happen, it's going to be a landslide and a huge issue going on for us to get down to 3%. And if that happens, great. It's going to make the market really go well. But what's going to happen to prices? They're going to double. And so, it used to be 20 years. Every 20 years, you would see prices double in the state of Texas. 3, 4%, 5% appreciation is about what we saw every year. And that was good. Because we're not California that goes up 40% one year and 48% the next year and then goes down 150%. We're just not like the way. We're slow, steady, not sexy, but still, if you're looking for an investment, or if you're buying a property you want to raise a family in, do you want to be in this roller coaster ride? Or do you want to be just, hey, I've got a house, I know it's good, I'm going to be great. I want that slow and steady myself. So the market is really all about being slow and steady. One of the things that I basically started this whole reasoning behind getting invited to speak today was really, it's an honor to be here today because I know everybody in this room has got a story, whether it's real estate related or veterans. I'm a Navy brat. I've moved 37 times right now in my life. And I'm sure, Jim, how many times did you move before you were out of, boot camp? 3 moves. My dad was on USS Forrestal and USS Enterprise, and we went from Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Virginia, Richmond, Ethiopia, back to Jacksonville, Florida, back to Virginia Beach. There was all different kinds of moves. When they went overseas, I said, well, I want to stay in my own school. Well, I graduated in the same school that I started. Finally, I went to one school more than 6 months. And so I graduated in North Carolina. That was a big deal because I wasn't going to travel and be all over the world. And, they're in the Mediterranean. I'm going to be the guy that's going to try to get their band and all the other things that you do as a kid. So the big thing today is, as I look around the room, I see wisdom, experience, and stories that span decades. Your story about the icebreaker, I'm going to tell you, that's the stuff that, you don't hear unless you hear it from the person that says it. Mary and I were talking about his dad, when he takes him to the VA. They make a hole for him because he's Iranian officer. And, that's a big deal for people when they talk about honor and respect. That's one thing you learn as a Navy kid. You better respect what's going on, otherwise you're going to walk the plank. And I'm serious when I say that. And it's usually your mother because your dad's out on the ship, right? So, I wasn't born with advantages or handed opportunities or civil pleasure, but my journey began really at the very beginning on my grandfather's car lot. I learned how to do business by cleaning cars, body working, doing all the grunt stuff to make those cars look nice so Grandpa could sell them. And so I was selling cars at 10, 11, 12 years old. When Grandpa would go get something, I'd be there on the lot and somebody would come in and I'd go sell a car and Grandpa would go, he'd be back from lunch and say, hey, Ed wants to buy this car, Grandpa. Okay, no problem, and it would get signed up. So I learned how to sell real early in regards to being involved in business. And so the truth is I absorbed fundamental truths about this, talking about the value of hard work. I learned early that nothing worthwhile comes easy. Everybody today is what? Now. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, right? That ain't the way it works when you got to really truly work for something. And I always find that if you don't work for it hard, you're not going to appreciate it. What do you give your kid coming out of school right now? Everybody gets a new car, right? What did you get? Exactly. Yeah, I got the beat up old Nova that I bought off of Grandpa's car lot for like $1,500 for mowing yards every week. I mow 20 yards a month and wash cars and all that stuff to pay for school. And then one day I got this idea. I said, well, you know what? I see all these guys in real estate that are buying houses, fixing them up, and selling them. You remember those commercials, Dave Delgado? You remember that guy on TV you'd always see? So I said, well, hey, let's get this program. Let's see what that's all about. Well, I said, the only way I'm going to ever pay my way through college, which if I was going to college, I'd have to pay for it. So I said, well, let's buy a house, Dad. Let's find something and fix it up. So we found a house in Eden, North Carolina, where I'm from. And I said, well, you know, this house is probably worth maybe $60,000, $70,000 max. And if we do these few things to it, we probably can get there. I think we paid $35,000 for it. Fixed it up. I think we put $8,000 in it, and we sold it for $65,000. And it worked out. That money went to the second year of college at Appalachian State. So that's how I kind of began my career in real estate. Was I needed money, let's figure out a way to multiply my efforts besides just working time for money, getting a paycheck for working so many hours. Let's go out and build something and buy a tangible asset and make it worth more. Let's fix it. Let's make it pretty. Let's sell it to somebody that really needs it. Building real assets, breaking nails, ripping up hands, and leading all the way. I learned how to remodel my first house on that house. But I call it the KISS method of becoming a multimillionaire. You know, keep it simple, so simple it's repeatable. You know, it is one thing throughout my journey. You know, everybody talks about, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Everyone told me you can't do that. You can't be a millionaire by the time you're 30. I was a millionaire by 30. And the reason why is because every coach, every mentor says, look, if you have $1 million in debt, you're going to you're going to be a millionaire. It's just going to take 30 years to pay it off, or 20 years to pay it off. You're a millionaire, but you still got debt, right? And so I'm that kid that went out and bought a bunch of those. You remember these non-qualifying, non-assumption loans? Remember those BA loans that you could get, and FHA loans? Remember those?
Yeah.
I had 35 of those at one time and was traveling for a living. I was selling general food, non-food general merchandise to every grocery store, Nebraska to Texas, Louisiana to New Mexico, my territory. I traveled 125,000 miles a year in a car. I was home 56 days in 5 years. Had the big title, Midwest Sales Manager, but I didn't know where my next place of sleep was going to be because I knew I was traveling and I knew I had 15 appointments I got to hit this month, and I'm going from here to here to here to here. I'm going to meet the head of Berkshire, so I'm going to meet at Tom Thumb. All the guys, all the big guys. Remember Earl Campbell? I met Earl Campbell when he was pitching his first Earl Campbell salsa at Berkshire Brothers. I mean, he was just sitting there, normal. He could walk then. Now he can't. He's an all-time wheelchair. But my point is that you meet so many people on the road. Traveling for a living, making a deal was great, but I had 4 cars stolen while I was on the road. Thank God for American Express. The company just walked in and say, I'm buying that car, here's the car, let's go, let's load it. It's got a big enough trunk. They ship me all the stuff from corporate New York. I'm down, I'm ready to go. The difference is that belly to belly, straightforward, meeting people and saying, hey Tom, great to see you, I'm glad we got the time to meet together. Means everything. Today's world is more internet tech and everything else. I still think you can't replace coming up and saying, hey, good to meet you, Mike, good to meet you, Bill, and shake somebody's hand. That personal touch to me is everything. And that's how I've really done what we've done in regard to real estate. Simplicity and consistency. Throughout the journey, skepticism was key to everybody saying no to you. I let that no be fuel to my fire. Everybody say no. Oh, you can't do that, Robbie. You can't be that person, Teresa. You can't do that. I'd say, you know what? Give me a week, I'll take care of that. And just be done. And it would automatically just be in the road. And I will say, the key to adversity is making sure you pick the right path to pivot. If you can't pivot, if this economy goes to recession, what's the next step for us? Get back up, keep going. My rental properties still pay rent. Even in 2008, I lost $1.5 million. It was the big aha for me to say, okay, I had my money in the stock market. I thought this is going to be great. I think this is fantastic. Well, guess what? Overnight, gone. What do?
Wait until it comes back.
Wait. That's one option. What else?
Go back to real estate.
Kick ass, double down, do 10 times more than you did the year before, and wait for the market to come back, which it did, but it also, the next year, I doubled down and I paid off 28 houses. And I created a cash flow. I lived in a huge house. I was in the middle of construction when 2008 was happening. I was in sticks building 18,000 feet of real estate in North Arlington, and I can tell you that everything in my mind says, oh my God, pull back, don't do it. Can we stop here now? And like Mr. Churchill says, what? When you're going through hell, keep on going, right?
Don't put out the fire.
Don't put out the fire, keep going. Blow it up, keep going. Rental properties still pay for that stuff, and still to today. My point is that through adversity, everybody thinks the world's going to fall apart. I don't care who it is. You have to be able to pivot around it. I see the market change right now as a good thing. Interest rates have hammered retail real estate. Not as many deals happening, not as many closing. That's why I gave you the data so you see it. This is 25% of what it was in 2017. 25%. If interest rates get down below 4%, and the true interest rates right now at 6.7, I think we'll see interest rates in the 5s next year. So if you're truly wanting to refinance, I'd hold just a period of time. Or if you're doing a cash out loan for seniors, that's an option. You know, one that'll pay you until you decide to retire. There are those available. If you need more information on that, let me know. I know guys that do that. The key to right now is, you know, power of patience is everything. And, you know, I'm most proud, it's not the dollar amount of the portfolio today. You know, it's about the discipline it takes to get it and build it. And it's not a get rich scheme. There's nothing funny about a tenant who didn't pay his rent because goes through and brings his best friend's painter over and paints the house every color in his truck. Brick, windows, roof, everything. That's one of those moments you think, oh my God, what do I do next? I want to kill the guy. I called the cops. I called the police. They said, guess what? Landlord problem. Well, I'm the landlord, and here's that kid doing it on a house on Meadowbrook Golf Course. You know Meadowbrook right over here. One of those ones that faces the main hole one right off the lot. One little little 2-bedroom, 1-bath there. Painted purple, green, black, yellow, orange, yellow, green, every color rainbow. Karina was ballistic. And I was like, you know what? This is fuel to the fire. We know we got to do this. This is going to happen. Just like everything else, everybody and their brother that's ever made money in the real estate market has done this before, and it's happened to them too. And so I had to go. I said, okay, let's call our painter. Let's go over. We're going to paint the whole house. And we did that in about 2 weeks. And that house was completely redone. No one would have recognized it. But it made the news. That picture, that house made the news. Yeah, that was a lovely game all night. But you know, I go back to the keys to making it is patience, consistency, simplicity, resilience, and vision. It didn't stop me from buying a house the next month. It never stopped me from buying a home. I bought a home every year for the last 34 years. We have 80 doors of real estate. And I can tell you at one time it was over 100. I managed at one time 3,500 properties. I sold that company to Judge Fight because I wanted more time to be able to run my own business instead of being a property manager. So the market changed, and I still had to change more. And so I keep saying, everybody keeps talking about, oh, I want it to go back the way it was. It's not going to happen. Market's going to change. The only thing that's constant in this world right now is change. And if you see what's going on in DC, trust me, some major changes are going to happen in the next 24 months. I think we're going to see complete change probably by the time 3 years from today. You're going to see a tremendously different market. And I always talk about legacy. At this stage in my life, in your life, I believe focus shifts naturally from accumulation to legacy. And what wisdom are we imparting to the next generation? What's the example we're setting? Barry and I were talking about his dad and the stories that his dad had when he was in Vietnam and the things that he did. That's part of the legacy, knowing the story. And one of my biggest joys is helping people do what I've done and show them, hey, this is a path. And if you really, truly are committed to it, you'll be, I call it the KISS method of becoming a multi-millionaire. And it's basically by keeping it simple. One home a year, or one home every 3 years, or one home every 5 years. And renting it out, and just keeping it, letting it pay for itself. Let your tenant pay for your retirement. I guess what, when it comes right down to it, it's a simple method, and some people go, oh, it can't be done. I've got $20 million in real estate, and I've done exactly what we want. And so when I talk about simple methods of becoming bigger than you ever thought you'd be, as a kid, it was the $6 million man. Daddy, I want to be a millionaire. I'm going to go out and do what I got to do, make it happen. Well, that started with that one house that had pay my second year of college. Because I didn't pay for, I had to pay for school. Mom and dad paid for 30% of the school, and I wound up paying for everything else. And it came from that entrepreneurship. If I can teach one thing to the people that I've helped, it's entrepreneurship. If you can't change today, you're going to be left behind. And I hate tech, but I'm changing. I've got to. If I don't, it ain't going to happen. I showed Robbie how to do what's up just a minute ago. It's just part of it. I have a friend of mine, he's my age, I'm 59. He never texted until about 6 weeks ago. And I'm like, dude, how do you survive? Text, it seems like it's everything right now. People don't do some of those things, and I'm telling you, technology can leave us all behind if we don't. I just see two things. The simplest path often leads to the greatest destinations. My journey from washing cars on my grandfather's car lot to building a $20 million real estate empire wasn't about complex financial moves or strategies or even speculation. It was about patience, consistency, and steady accumulation of real, tangible assets, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not even a currency. Just remember that. Real wealth isn't built overnight. It's built by one property, one decision, one disciplined choice at a time. And, I'm grateful for the opportunity to share with you my story today. Because I can tell you, your wisdom, every week I come in here and I meet somebody new and I say, tell me your story, tell me about you, tell me what's going on. I hear stories every week that make me go back to the same situation as a kid. My dad was in the Navy, and I'm sitting on the bow of the USS Forrestal, and we're on family day, family tour, everybody's cruising Virginia Beach or cruising Jacksonville through the new Gulf of America. Right? Sorry, it's coming. But I can tell you, those are the things that you learn from people. I think the Metal Barn Museum coming in, and I know Barry raised a bunch of money for the Metal Barn Museum. Was it 75,000? How much? 50,000, pretty close to 50,000. Metal Barn opens up the 25th of this month. Preview date is the 24th. Well, 22nd is for certain groups. There's several days. Yeah, it depends on your level of who you are and all that. But I'm telling you, I hope and pray that our city becomes the most veteran-centric city in America. That's the goal from the mayor. I really truly think it will be. If we can instill just a few values in people and ignite the fire of our youth, it will make a difference. Because I can tell you, I've made about 200 millionaires in my career. People, average people, nurses, doctors. Everybody thinks they're doctors and lawyers. That's BS. They're guys that took the chance and said, hey, I want to do this. I need to put my money in a retirement program. I need to put my money somewhere where I can have it make me money. Because the stock market for a lot of people is not done. And they say, well, okay, well, I show them what I've done and how I can do it for them. One of the things I see right now, my last word is, if you have questions in regards to real estate, please reach out to me. My cell phone is on the membership list. If there's one thing I've seen more and more seniors be aware of, scams, please do not give out documentation. Wire fraud is happening everywhere. I had one client call me about they had to deposit money from some AI generated person that sounded like their kid, and they were somewhere, they needed $20,000, and she went to the Bitcoin place to deposit $20,000. I'm telling you, fraud's rampant. Go for it, Dave.
Can you explain a little about the county's program to keep that fraud from happening in the real estate? Keep from someone stealing your house like you see in commercials?
Yeah. Blockchain, what we're seeing right now is there's 3 or 4 different levels. Every time I wire money to buy a house, they call me, somebody else calls me, and somebody else calls me from a bank. Do you really want to do this? Are you doing this? What are you doing it for? What they're trying to find out all the story. My point is that is happening, and there are certain levels right now. They've blocked a lot of fraud. I can tell you, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of fraud have been stopped in the last 6 months, just from the new technology that's out there. So, type fraud, you see all the commercials about, hey, someone can go down and change your name on your title. If you own your house outright, change your name. You can do things like put in an LLC, family trust. You can stop a lot of that just simply by not having it in your name. It's kind of a block. It's an easy way, and I can talk about that with you if you want to definitely talk more about that. Go for it, Tom.
Thank you. I was curious about your perspective on the NAR settlement that was reached a year ago this month. How that's sort of played out.
So for those who don't understand the NAR lawsuit, it's talking about disclosure. Someone did disclose that they were an agent. They went out and bought property and said, hey, Tom, I'm buying your property. I'm Jeff Cassell. I want to buy your property. And they didn't disclose that they were real estate broker or didn't disclose something. Disclosure, because I sell commercial and residential real estate, and commercial's been doing disclosure for 20 years. Residential never caught up or didn't want to do it. Every time I've represented a client like yourself, I'd say, Tom, hey, Jeff, I want you to sign a buyer rep agreement. You're going to pay me, the seller doesn't pay me. I'm going to get 99% of the time, I'm getting my money from the seller, but you're going to want this experience of over 7,200 properties sold in the last 34 years here in the Arlington market. We can make that happen for you, and I'll probably give you a better deal than you ever thought you did. That's what we have always done for the longest of times. The disclosure issue was that nobody in residential wanted to do that. It was, hey, I want to go show the pretty houses. I want to treat it like a business. If I didn't treat it like a business, that's fine.
I will not work that.
No, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, I treat it like a business because, guess what? It really is a business. And this whole lawsuit became a problem when people didn't disclose who they were acting on behalf of. You know, they didn't say, hey, I represent the buyer, or I represent the seller. And most buyer's agents would walk out and, you know, they could be dual agent, where they represent the buyer and try to represent the seller. That's undisclosed dual agency. That became the problem. There's a ton of that right now. I can tell you, NAR decided to do this lawsuit, to pay this lawsuit. It's $440 million that NAR, National Association of Realtors, is paying to end that lawsuit because it would cost over $1 billion to litigate. So they're just like, okay, let's pay it, be done with it, let's move forward. I personally thought they should apply. Just my personal opinion.
In the Texas Monthly, you probably heard of that magazine.
Yeah.
Okay, they say there's two women here in Fort Worth and in Arlington. The lady in Arlington is Japanese. In 1970, when you probably still around,
Yep.
she bought at the courthouse now, going down.
Yep.
Shows 30 greenhouses been paid for quite a few years.
Yep.
It said that as an agent, she is at the top of the list. And then, of course, the lady in Fort Worth, you heard of Rainwater?
Yes.
Okay.
Richard.
Yeah. He deeded her 40,000 rent homes in 35 states. She said only taking a few million a month.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I said 98% of all million and billionaires have come from real estate. That's the reason why I originally said I'm going to be in real estate, because that's where they're going. You know, I studied Rockefeller, and I figured out how he did it, and then I studied a few others like Chase and all the others, and said, okay, well, this is what I want to do. You know, I want to learn how these guys did it, and so that's what inspired me to be what I do. And it also makes a difference. Honestly, the average agent sells 6 homes a year. That's 80%. Only really 90, like really 5% now are the ones that sell 90% of the real estate. And that's really the truth. I mean, at one time my team was 25 people. 2008 happened. I was speaking behind Trump, Kiyosaki, and a couple other people, bringing people to Texas to do development that he had set up in Austin, San Antonio. I worked with D.R. Horton, and they would come and say, okay, we're going to have this 300-unit neighborhood, and I'd say, okay, I'll take 10% of the subdivision, I'll sell rent-ready packages. I think I'm going out. Rent-ready packages on all of those. And what I meant by that is that a tenant could walk in, put in a key in the door, and it could be rented. Blinds on the wall, everything, all set up. I was selling 60 to 75, maybe 100 homes a month on average. Typically in my heyday, we were selling 4,000 investors between 2001 and 2008. And I can tell you, the bulk of that came from, after that, I was an REO broker in the beginning, right after the S&L crisis in the 80s. I was an REO broker, meaning I was representing the banks and taking those assets from the banks. Southwest Securities, FSB in Arlington, you know, Fort Worth Credit Union, all those that had, if they had a bank loan and it was in default, I would get a call. And I would say, they would say, okay, Jeff, remember Marquee Homes in Arlington that went under? Remember them? I think I redid 7 of their properties. And I meant, hey, here's the key and here's your checkbook. Tell me how much it's going to take, and let's finish this house or sell it as is. And I would be that guy that walks in and say, okay, this one has Venetian plaster in it. This one has blah, 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 blah. I would go down all those lists. I would remodel about, over 600 properties in 34 years. So I can tell you, when it comes down to it, I would go in and analyze, figure it out, get the trades in line, execute, and make it happen. And then I wound up actually getting to sell. Not that I always got to sell, but by the time I finished it, it was ready. We had it sold.
It doesn't matter, but yeah, I could talk about a bunch of different things, but basically, to set it right is to realize that everybody in your neighborhood, everybody at this table has a special story, is an expert in some way or another, knows people, knows people in building, knows people in construction, knows people did something nuclear stuff. Everybody is special in some way. So even though we're all here to learn, that's a good thing, because learning gives us an opportunity to realize the potentials. And maybe when we retire, we may be still working with other like people else. And that's kind of what I think. Just I 36 years of American Airlines pilot. And now I like sharing my knowledge and everybody with everyone else. There's a lot of things I'd like to do. I'm just on the list for free. Because I think I should help everybody.
You're paying it forward.
Yeah.
You're paying it forward.
And there's very little we want. I don't know. I've been everywhere in the world. And except across the sea, I haven't done that. We have 3.5 hours left, so I feel we were in the United States and in Mexico. But trying to make everybody else proud. But thank you so much for sharing all the have, Jeff. And again, it's something that we know about you, and I know there's a lot of other people here. I've seen John all my life. He was a voice of American Airlines, and everybody else I didn't even know were basically used to being my friend or very close. So thank you all for that, and thank you for sharing that.
I got one question. We were in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And we talked to a broker just like you on Shizwong, off that road.
Yeah, I bet.
She spoke 5 languages.
Yeah, Portuguese, Italian.
Yeah, okay.
All of
She
it.
said that every year, a Japanese or Chinese will come over on private jet. The minimum they have is $100 million in cash in the belly of the airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And they buy rental from you in all islands.
Yep.
So,
How's that happen?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, she was
you
showing.
remember when the wall fell in Russia? Remember when the wall fell? I was in Miami working for Carlos Gusto. If you've ever, remember, what's it, Robin Leach? Remember Robin Leach that had the people? Yeah, the Lifestyles of Rich and Famous. Well, Robin Leach would be on Star Island, and Robin came and was interviewing my brother. I went to work for Carlos Gusto. And I can tell you, in Miami Beach, Julio Iglesias would be coming by, and you'd be like, hey, Julio, all that kind of stuff. You meet a lot of people that you would never, from a small town, would have never thought of met somebody like that. I met Trump, speaking on my tours, and I met Kiyosaki and a couple other people that I would say, my real estate idols, the people I wanted to be around. I can tell you, when the wall fell, Russia came over, 14 oligarchs flew 12 planes over. There was no less. There's only 8 people in those 12 planes. They took out all of the guts inside and all the guts on the bottom. It was completely packed with cash. Because the fall wall was going to help hurt their money. They converted it to dollars, and they bought billions of dollars of real estate in 7 days. Every morning, 7 a.m., breakfast, 8 o'clock, 8:30, helicopter, and we would fly all the places, and we would fly over and say, hey, I sold that one to Gloria Stefan, and that one was 4.8 million, and this one is for sale, and it's blah, 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 blah. It's 6.8, okay, let's buy it. That one's a 7.2, let's buy it. This one is that. I can tell you, we bought $1 billion a day on average in real estate. I wrote no less than 80 contracts a day. And we had a staff doing it, and I mean rocking it. My point is, not everybody, we're paying full price for those properties. You would think you're the only game in town, you're gonna be, negotiating. No, we're paying full price. Because they were trying to make sure the dollar didn't devalue. Real estate is a tangible asset. You can touch it, feel it, do anything to it, make it beautiful. That's the difference between that and stocks. You can't touch it. And one yahoo somewhere does something funky, like remember Budweiser beer, the commercial, their value went down in like 80% in 6 months. Real estate doesn't go like that. That's why I'm all in on real estate.
She said that when she got out of college with those languages, that and met the right rich people from China and Japan, they called her. And she said cash. She said
Everything.
Yeah. One guy bought 3 houses behind Eatate mountain there, the volcano. Then he really denied. He said, I want 3 million. Also give to
Yeah, because the loss of money, the valuation of the money drop would have been probably 50%. That's the reason why they paid full price or more, because they knew if they lost 10%, they'll be good.
And that's what the Chinese guy, he flew to every island. And he said, I only have 150 million cash in this, what do you call that, AT&T plane that's dual engine back.
I know what you're saying, but still, that's the reason why. Real estate's the most coveted asset for a lot of people. And so that's the reason why if you're truly wanting to, I say buy real assets. I mean, if you bought this building and made it different, there's always some use for this. And so my point is, somebody's going to walk in, some entrepreneur is going to say, I want it, or I'll lease it. It's going to happen.
You said the Japanese guy go to home, we want this on, well, not for sale, they just.
Right, adding zeros, add another zero, add another zero. And I've seen it done. It's just hard. Any other questions, guys? Thank you today, appreciate it. If we can talk anymore, please do call me, okay? Thank you.
All right, then I have for you to give to the Harbor Realtors Community Service Foundation a check for $100. And thank you for filling it. You did a great.
And Arlington Community Service Foundation is looking for houses for people that need rehab. And so if you know somebody that you know is a neighbor of yours, doesn't have to be a veteran, if it is a veteran, whatever, I'm just telling you that Arlington Community Service Foundation is committed to doing remodeling on property. So if you know somebody that's really bad, in a bad situation, let me know, let Jock know. I can tell you, they did 6 houses last year, and they'll do probably the same this year. So, this just from these kind of donations.
Thank you, Jeff. Another round of applause for Mr. Cassell. And next month in April, we'll have Mauricio Galante here to tell his story. So, thank you all for being here, and have a good month. Thank you.